start the talk off while I just do both these quick. Hello,
Hey there,
we are back,
this is Luke from Essential TV,
and I'm Peter from Essential TV.
and we are here to talk about Jessica Jones.
Yes.
Marvel's Jessica Jones
I am so
coming to
excited for
Netflix this week. So, if you are not familiar with Jessica Jones, this is the second Marvel and Netflix collaboration after Daredevil. It's set in New York City,
Hell's Kitchen.
the same gritty environment that we are broadcasting from right now.
Yeah, we are literally in Hell's Kitchen.
Except they don't actually shoot here; they shoot in Brooklyn, and they try to tell us that it's Hell's
I
Kitchen,
did not
but no, not at all.
Okay.
I spent 5 years living in Hell's Kitchen. I heard they were doing a Daredevil live-action series for Netflix. I got so excited, thinking they are going to finally shoot something in my neighborhood that I can enjoy, and I'll see Daredevil fighting Kingpin, and
Yeah.
they shoot it in Brooklyn. So,
Okay, well, let me dive in. Just explain Jessica Jones for those who don't know. First of all, send us your questions and comments about Jessica Jones, and we want to start a conversation with you guys. Retweet us, restream us, send us hearts, all that stuff, so we can get more interaction.
have a heart.
Yes. So,
Have 100 hearts.
Jessica Jones, first introduced in Brian Michael Bendis' Alias, which was a Marvel Max Comics, this little symbol right here, which means it's like rated R.
But I also want to point out that they introduced the comic as Alias, and that was the same time that the Alias TV series.
Yeah, it was
Like,
confusing.
it was within months of
Which
each
is
other.
probably why they're not calling the TV show.
Well, they can't.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate because I thought Alias was such a cool name for the comic, and I guess it would have been a cool name for the show, but it was a cool name for somebody else's
Okay.
show.
Yeah. Who is Jessica Jones and what universe is she from? That is exactly what we're here to talk about. She's from the Marvel Universe. She is in the same universe as Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, all those guys.
And more importantly, Daredevil
Yes.
on Netflix. She is in the Marvel Netflix, not universe, because all the Marvel
She's
shows
in the Marvel
and movies
Netflix
carry the
family.
universe, but she's more closely related
Mhm.
to Daredevil than she will be to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And so she's from this comic originally. Like, if for people who are just trying to read about Jessica Jones now, you recommended this book, and you were like, oh, but I want to know her backstory first. This is the first time she ever appears in a comic book.
Yeah, and I was confused because I remember when this comic first came out, Jessica Jones was first released as Alias here, and I was reading the first edition comics thinking, wait a second, they're talking about her like she's been around forever,
Yeah.
and I do not know this character. Did I miss something?
No, it's great writing by Brian Michael Bendis. You will, once reading it, you pick up, like, it's supposed to be, you're not supposed to know what happened to her in the
Right.
past. Basically, she is a private eye investigator, but she has superpowers.
She's like a recovering superhero,
Yeah.
and recovering in a couple of ways.
Yes, she has some problems from her past, which they get into, and the show is going to take right from this book.
So getting down to who she is from a superhero perspective, someone says, "Please open the comic."
Oh, okay.
Here, you get two of them. They're
Yeah,
open.
I love to have this one recurring panel.
The art is fantastic in these comics, by
Yeah.
the way. If you get a chance, I think that these books will probably be selling a lot more copies this week and next week than they ever have before.
They do this thing every time she's interviewing someone about, like, a private investigation, where it's just like the same picture, like, of her face every time, and I hope somehow they incorporate that in the TV show, just like her interviewing people with the same look on her face, and she just pretty much lets them talk and just stares at them to, like, interrogate them.
Someone asked, how will Netflix connect Jessica Jones with the Marvel Universe?
One of the best, Alias storylines
and will
includes
other
Cap.
superheroes appear on the show?
I think
So first, for the people that are not familiar with Jessica Jones, we'll answer those. But first, her backstory is that she was a superhero. She was like an Avenger. She wasn't necessarily an Avenger.
she fought with the like she was on the same team as the Avengers in a sense.
She has super strength.
She was called
She could
Jewel.
fly.
Yeah.
She always reminded me of like a Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And she has all these powers that are very Marvel Universe, Marvel Avengers movies kind of powers. Yeah. But then when you meet her in these comics, that's her past life and she's trying to get away from it. And now she's very grounded. She looks like a normal person walking down the street. She's a private investigator, and her powers come in handy.
Her powers are super strength, I guess flight, even though she describes it as jumping really high.
Right.
And that's basically it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, it's just kind of, if you read the comics, it's kind of the same thing Rogue has, except without the steal your powers with touch.
Right.
It's like super strength and flight.
And she's trying to escape both her superhero past, and then she has traumatic incidents from her past.
We're not going to get too deep into what happened in her past because it's a great reveal when you find out.
We don't want to give you, because I think that what's going to happen is this Netflix series will probably be pretty faithful to the comics, because the comics are contemporary.
The creator, Brian Michael Bendis, he got sneak peeks of the Netflix show, and he like absolutely praised it. He
so
said
we don't want to ruin
amazing.
anything because I think we're going to see a lot of the best parts of the comic.
It has to do with the Purple Man, played by David Tennant, who was Doctor Who. You know him in the Goblet of Fire, the Harry Potter movie. I think it was Goblet of Fire. Yeah. And
Broadchurch.
Please open the comic again. Okay, you get one more.
I'll give you a second one.
Okay.
Second one for free.
That's the flashback, and they do different art. This is what the regular art looks like. And then
this is a page from Archie Comics that's been stuck in
it's like the flashback from when she gets her powers. They make it look like the classic 60s comic.
Which is really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were we saying?
So David Tennant kills.
So David Tennant, I'm so excited to see him in this. He plays Kilgrave, also known as the Purple Man, and it's a really depraved character that has the power to control people, to make people do things they don't want to do. And he has a history with Jessica Jones, and that leads to a lot of the trauma that drives her. Like she's basically trying to run from and hide from in this life,
but now
this low-key life.
But now he's back pretty much in the TV show, and that's what this is. That's what pretty much this whole season's going to be about. And
so, like, Daredevil started out is very much about Matt Murdock, and they're talking about Wilson Fisk and his organization, and you're meeting people around him. You didn't actually meet Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk until like about the halfway point.
That reveal when like you first meet Fisk,
and he's amazing.
I could spend forever talking about how great Daredevil was.
But I think that Jessica Jones will probably do something very similar, where we're going to keep learning more and more about Kilgrave and what he did to Jessica.
You got to open up with Jessica Jones' story first, and then maybe episode 3 or 4 you can get into Kilgrave a little bit.
Right.
We'll see.
And I think it'll be a big payoff. It's like Marvel gets a lot of criticism that they don't have strong villains. That the only strong villain is Loki.
And now people are saying David Tennant's Purple Man is going to be like the next Loki. People are going to love him.
But also Wilson Fisk.
Yes. Because they have a whole series to build up the character. Because
they give you enough time to learn about the character, and usually the villains are one-dimensional because they want to spend the entire time talking about the superhero, the main character, and that's what's so great about this Netflix format for Marvel properties, because we get to spend more time in the world. And the fact that Daredevil already established this gritty Hell's Kitchen environment with street level heroes, now we're going to continue that with Jessica Jones.
And we're getting a lot in Jessica Jones. We're going to have Luke Cage, who, I mean, little spoiler, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage end up married in the comics and have a kid.
Right. So but that doesn't, we'll see what happens.
Everyone,
I don't think that's a real spoiler because that's like long-term stuff. It could happen, it could not.
Yeah. That's like saying spoiler, Cap and Iron Man fight in Civil War.
Right. So Luke Cage, mostly known as Luke Cage, but also known as Power Man.
Yes, originally known as Power Man, but then it's just like, we'll just call him Luke Cage because Power
Man's a really lame name.
It's like how Jean Grey was known as Marvel Girl, but nobody called her that.
Right. So Luke Cage is a main character.
And he's going to get his own show, too, after Jessica Jones. They're filming that currently.
So the Marvel Netflix plan, if you're not familiar, is they were always going to start with Daredevil, and then Jessica Jones, then Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist. And then they were all going to come together in a crossover series.
Like an Avengers style
The Defenders. So they were very much trying to replicate what they did with the movies on Netflix. But now there's been some changes because Daredevil was such a big success. They're doing season 2 of Daredevil will be the next one of these Marvel.
Let's
Netflix
not even get into that because
collaborations.
that'll take us forever.
But that'll be coming like around April or around that time. And we might not get an Iron Fist. There's rumors that they might do a movie instead. We'll see. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get a Luke Cage.
Yeah. I say we keep talking about Jessica Jones, though.
Yeah.
By the way,
just so you know, he's an important character.
It comes out.
We'll see him again.
It comes out Friday. If you're on the East Coast, you can watch Jessica Jones starting at 3 a.m. Friday morning. Or if you're on the West Coast, it's midnight going into Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So
call off work.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Come up with your excuse now. Because if you remember, like when we all watched Daredevil, it hooks you fast.
Yes.
And you just burn through these episodes. 10 episodes is not nearly enough.
There's going to be ties to Daredevil. We know that.
We've got a fan of the name Power Man, a very sensible and funky name for an African American superhero. Come on. I know, but it feels very 70s.
Yeah, which is when he was created.
Yeah, exactly. And so it makes sense for the 70s. I don't think it makes sense today.
Okay, so what else can we talk about with Jessica Jones?
What else do you want to know about Jessica Jones? Send us some questions.
Oh, someone's question, how are you going to do like the best stories without Captain America? Like one of the best storylines involves Captain America. I think they're just going to, if they choose to do that storyline, which like Jessica Jones acts like she goes to investigate a missing sister of like one of her clients, and she finds her and she's like with a man and she's taking pictures of them like together at like 3 a.m, and all of a sudden he gets like a note on his pager and she's like, oh, I bet he's either cheating or he's like a doctor. Nobody gets a beeper at 3 a.m, and then he disappears. She finds him up on the roof in Captain America's costume, and it turns out it was Captain America. She accidentally recorded Captain America, Steve Rogers, in his private life.
So they're not going to get into that.
So maybe like
that's not a spoiler for the show because there's no way.
Yeah.
Because Captain America's off being Captain America.
Exactly. That's not going to happen.
That's something you can really pull off in a cool way in the comics, which is a reason you should buy the comics and read the comics.
And another way I think they'll change some stuff around for this new universe is in this book, Jessica Jones's close friend who she talks to a lot about her cases is Miss Marvel herself. But she hasn't even been introduced in the Marvel Universe yet.
We've all been waiting for that.
But what we do know,
she's coming.
Her closest friend, and I'm blanking on her civilian name, but she's known as Tigress, I think. Right?
Well, there's Tigress in DC.
It's
might be getting.
Man, I'm blanking. Okay. Carrie Ann Moss's character is I'm just gonna completely go past what I was saying and go back to Carrie Ann Moss.
Go to Carrie Ann Moss.
So she's playing. I think his name's Hobby Brown in the comics, and they actually gender swapped him. He was a lawyer who helped.
Know that.
Yeah. So instead of having Matt Murdock as your lawyer, they're gonna have Carrie Ann Moss.
Right. Which leads to the other question: will any other superheroes show up? And I think that they'll probably do like they did with Daredevil, where in Daredevil they have newspapers in the background. It's the Battle of New York, and they're hinting at things that happen in the Avengers.
They're probably going to mention Fisk somehow.
They'll mention some things like that, but I don't think I doubt we'll see Daredevil show up in this.
We might see Matt Murdock.
We might see Matt Murdock, but if we do, I don't think they'll make a big deal out of it.
Matt Murdock is in Alias too. There's a great issue with him. Jessica Jones is his bodyguard because everyone thinks Daredevil is Matt Murdock.
Why would they think that? He's blind. He can't be a superhero.
Exactly. But that's what the Kingpin
What a
wants
great
everyone
secret
to think.
identity. But I think that Rosario Dawson's character.
Yes,
she was introduced.
She's confirmed.
She was introduced Claire Temple in Daredevil, and she is in this.
She's the night nurse.
So we are going to see Daredevil characters at least show up. I don't know if we'll see Daredevil in costume, but I mean, I think it's all but guaranteed that someone will mention him.
I don't think we'll get a tie-in to Civil War, just because that's like the movies and TV of Marvel, even though they're connected.
They have a very different tone.
Yeah, unless it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then that's like they're really trying to stay connected.
Although nothing would please me more than watching Civil War and seeing Daredevil in it, even in a small way. even if they do like a hint at him, like they hint at the Battle of New York and the Avengers and Daredevil, if they do something in reverse where it's like there's a newspaper with Daredevil on it, like I really hate to see Civil War come and go and this amazing Netflix Marvel world doesn't play
But
some part.
that's the thing though. It's like it's Netflix, so when you're watching it, there's no like set time when you're watching it.
Right.
Because if it's like Agents of Shield, a new episode comes out the week
Well, they
Age of
tie it
Ultron
all
is
in.
being released, so they mention.
But with something like Daredevil, they could put a hint in,
Yeah.
and he's been in costume long enough. And also with Civil War, not to get too much on Civil War because that's a whole other discussion, but Civil War as a story benefits from having lots of heroes. And I think it's really interesting, Jessica Jones, because she's a hero trying to escape her past, there could be something logically that ties in there. I just don't think we're going to see it.
Yeah. It's
At least not in a big way.
But they're describing this show as dark, gritty, just like how Daredevil was. It's like street level criminals, street level superheroes, superheroes that have problems. Jessica Jones, she solves all her problems with alcohol. She sleeps around. She is a human being, and she's got problems, and that is
Right.
really how
She's got superpowers, but
Yeah.
she's got super problems.
possible crossover with Jessica Jones and Agents of Shield. We all hope so,
I doubt it,
but
though.
yeah,
And it comes back to the tone. It's like the Netflix shows are so grounded and gritty for as far as these kinds
it's
of
kind
shows
of like
go.
a universe within a universe.
Yeah, and
But then again,
Agents of Shield is very like
Yeah.
comic booky, and
We might get a reference to S.H.I.E.L.D. because, not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but S.H.I.E.L.D. in general, because if Jessica Jones was a superhero, which everyone is saying she was, even Kristen Ritter says, like, she used to be a superhero, now she's not.
they could work her backstory.
How, yeah, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. was around when she was
It
a
would be
superhero.
fun to see a flashback.
They did,
even
I'm
if
pretty
it's a
sure
small
someone
cameo.
said her costume will make an appearance as Jewel.
I think we'll probably see. I don't know. I'd like to see a flashback or a dream sequence or something of her in costume in the Jessica Jones Netflix series. But I think it'd be really fun if somehow they worked her into like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. flashback.
Do we think Luke Cage and Purple Man have history? I'm going to guess that Luke Cage and Purple Man are going to meet each other for the first... If they do meet each other this season of Jessica Jones, it's the first time they're meeting.
And they're not going to like each other.
However, and I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, David Tennant was seen on the set of Luke Cage. So, is it David Tennant, Kilgrave, Purple Man is still alive? Or it's a flashback? We don't know.
You never know with these things.
So,
Could be his evil
they
twin.
could have history, they could not.
I guess he wouldn't have an evil twin.
Yeah.
He'd probably have a good twin.
Yeah. But one of my favorite panels of Marvel Comics, which I hope they bring to the Netflix shows, is there's a prison break, and all the Avengers come in. Luke Cage is there, and they're trying to control all the prisoners, which are all superhero prisoners, supervillain prisoners.
Right.
And Purple Man's like, "Hey, Luke Cage, like, why don't you do me a favor, kill all your teammates, and then you and me will get out of here." And Luke Cage is like almost frozen. Then he goes, "Hey, Kilgrave, your powers aren't working right now because of the power defectors that the prison has." And Kilgrave's face just drops,
Right.
and Luke Cage just destroys
Right.
him.
He goes Power Man on him.
Yes.
Yes, Netflix did do an amazing job with Daredevil.
Yes, he is in the comics. Purple Man is literally purple. His skin is purple.
He's not in this.
Not in this.
Again, it goes back to them making it as grounded and real as possible. So the Purple Man will wear purple, but his skin will not be purple.
However, based on the trailers, when he uses his powers, there's like purple like lights and like tints on the screen.
They'll play with it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about rumors of Iron Man and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you ever see Iron Man and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's going to be the costume, and Robert Downey Jr. is not going to be in it.
No.
No way.
It's gonna be all CGI. Okay.
So, I guess that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. If you have any other questions, send them to us very quickly, because we're going to go offline.
You have a little over 48 hours until Jessica Jones comes out.
Right. You have a little over 48 seconds to ask us a question.
Maybe do your research on Jessica Jones. Maybe don't. It might be better if you don't know anything and go into this blind.
But the comics are very, very good.
Yes, definitely pick up Alias.
And I have the whole first run, first editions, and you can buy them from me. I don't know what they're worth. because
We'll start it off at $50.
start at $50, and after everyone watches this show, they're going to go up in value because this is a little known comic book character that has great story potential.
Yeah, she's gonna be huge now. I'm gonna guess she's gonna get her own book again.
I think that what they did, the bar they set with Daredevil, it looks like they're going to go above and beyond. Which is good.
Yeah, someone says they're gonna binge Jessica Jones in 2 days. That will break
You got to take
my
two whole
record.
days.
Yeah, it took me to watch Daredevil 3 days. So if I can do it in 2 days,
My thing is, I try to take as long as possible so I can enjoy it more.
I gotta watch it back to back.
Because I watched Daredevil so quick and then it was gone in an instant. I almost prefer when it's week to week. Because as much as I hate to have to wait, at least then you get to enjoy it over the course of a couple of months.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, everyone's different with their binging techniques. Tell us yours,
so
however we are.
How do you binge? How will you binge Jessica Jones?
So,
How many times?
do we have a cool sign off for Jessica Jones?
I don't have a cool sign off for Jessica Jones.
Avoid the purple man.
Yeah. Avoid the purple. I don't know.
You will watch Jessica Jones on Friday. It's
And-
like a Jedi mind trick.
And maybe Saturday too.
Oh yeah, all weekend.
All
Watch
right.
it 3 times.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.